Hello, Pheasant815 here. Going to talk about cleaning your Springfield magazine. This is the one that comes with, your 1911. It is currently loaded, as you can see. A lot of people say that these are junk, and I will not argue that. However, you can still use them. What I do is, initially they come just so poorly put together that it's hard to get all 7 rounds in there. So I leave them loaded for a couple days just to soften that spring up a little bit. But I'm going to go ahead and unload it. I have 5 live rounds and 2 snap caps in there. And the only reason I note the 2 snap caps are in the end is originally it was getting jammed, and I'd have to apply pressure on the last couple rounds on the tip to free them up from getting lodged and stuck in the magazine. They'd be lodged about this far down, and I'd have to poke them, otherwise they wouldn't actually go up the magazine. So I left dummy rounds in there because I felt I could push these as much as I want. They're not going to damage the bullet or cause anything dangerous to happen. So anyway, that's why these were in the bottom. Well, this magazine has since been softened up quite a bit. It's a lot easier to load. But I'm also going to show you how to disassemble for cleaning. This one I've already disassembled once, but I'll disassemble this one again. What you do is you just take and you compress the magazine down. You go through the sight holes, and what you're doing is you're trapping the magazine. Right now it's about this far down, and it traps the magazine spring, so it takes the tension off the top. Oops, I accidentally went through. I didn't go down high enough, so I trapped on top the plate. So I'm going to push down again. There you go. Because you're just wanting to get the metal piece through the sight holes, the visual holes, to see the spring caught, not the top plate, because you want to be able to get that out. With this out, now you've just got the spring caught. Now you should wear safety eyewear, or at least make sure not to point this at your face, because that spring is under a good amount of tension. This one looks pretty clean because I just cleaned it not that long ago. I'm toying with the idea of just polishing off the sides here so it feeds up and down a little smoother, and also because it's been getting jammed. I know it's a little cruddy, it's not as good as one you can buy, but I want to get the most for my money, and since I got 2 of these that came free with the pistol, I thought, well, why not try to make them work, or at least manageable for the range. I wouldn't want to trust my life with one of these, but for the range, I'd like to have an extra couple magazines. So anyway, the magazine spring's still under tension. I just stick my finger in there, pointing in a safe direction as I remove the item. In this case, it's just a broken pick to take the spring out. You notice how the spring is in there before you take it out further. The magazine sits, the top of the magazine sits like this, and it just wasn't moving up and down very well. So what I did is I took that out, cleaned out the spring, and then in there. I'm not going to use any solvents here right now, but what you can do is you can get your gun patches wet with cleaning solvent, stick them down there, and brush on the front, right along here where the bullet's going to fly. Crud was a lot right there. And again, you're not seeing much of anything right now because, in fact, I did clean it that long ago. And the back. I noticed at the Springfield factory, just throw some dirt there, I suppose. It had a lot of oil in there. I suppose it's to keep it from rusting, and that's fine. And you always want to clean your pistol before you shoot it for the first time and everything. But the magazines I never thought about. So now that I've cleaned this, I've cleaned the sides, load the magazine spring. This part of the spring, you can see that goes on the bottom. Should feed like that. Just need to compress it just enough. Again, keep your eyes safe. I'm going to go through the visual holes there. Whoops, missed the spring. What you want to do is tap the spring, take some of the tension off. Excuse me, a little bit of the cold there. Gonna feed top. And you don't want to point that towards your face in case it comes loose. Oops, come on, get in there. Okay. And you want to test to make sure it works. Oops, I don't have it far enough. That's why you want to test it. Always point away from your eyes. You want to keep your eyes safe during this process. Make sure that does work, in fact. No, it's not in there right. It's not in there right at all. See, it shouldn't be coming out the front there. And it is. There we go. There we go. Now it's fit. And all it is, I just jostled it there a little bit. Let's make sure it loads well. And at this point, because I have softened up that spring, I can just load it by hand. Oops. Load it by hand relatively easily here. That's 5, I believe. 6. And 7. Previously, and it's still tight up top. Now previously I could not do this with the Springfield magazine, it would get stuck at about 5, and then if I put anything more, 6 went in, I'd have to use this to ram it out because it would get stuck and wouldn't move the next round forward to the top of the magazine. Sorry if I sound a little congested, I'm congested. But anyway, after doing this to the magazines and putting more lube in the 1911, it in fact has not had a problem at all. I also got a better magazine, which I'll review a little bit later, but the Springfield magazines that come with it, don't throw them away. They're at least good enough for the range. Anyway, this is Pheasant815 saying happy holidays, good night.